Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about innovation and what this means for enterprise organisations and ways to navigate the digital revolution we're currently going through. With me is John Sullivan, who is Group CIO of Virgin Trains, who is responsible for leading innovation and strategy. Welcome, John. It's really good to have you here at AWS, and we're fascinated and looking forward to your insights.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. We've got a great relationship with AWS, so I thought it was important to share my story with you.
Thank you, John. Now, John, what do you see as your role at the present time in Virgin Trains? Obviously, you're a CIO, but it's more than that, really.
I think so. I guess in one way, the first thing that I do is keeping the lights on. So in terms of IT services, let's make sure that that's running. Everyone wants to come in and their kit works. Monday morning, you turn your laptop on and it works. I think the second layer is about change management. So how do we drive change? What's the right change to do? If you get points 1 and 2 right, you can strategically influence the business. So within that, I think the core for me is about what change is right, what's good for our customers. So Virgin, like Amazon, is obsessed with customers. So what does that mean? Pace of technology now is incredible. Yeah. How fast it is. How can I keep up with that?
Yeah.
So, but it also, I think that allows you to be creative. You know, how can we do it? We used, you know, we've recently launched our Alexa skill. I think that was highly creative. First company in the globe to be able to book your ticket. You know, we're really thinking about what that means to our customers. On any website at the moment, it takes 7 minutes. On our Alexa skill, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it's a good example about, you know, really thinking about the customers that we did jointly with Amazon. But incredible in terms of what can we do, and that's the bit that I love, is the driving the change, and let's be creative about it.
It's interesting because actually to drive that change, you actually have to run the engine right. Getting that right actually gives you the permission to go and innovate with your business partners, I find.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. So you touched on Alexa there. How are you using AWS to innovate projects?
So I think the key thing for me, and I well remember I started working in the 90s, and there was always, when we were doing projects, the server's down or the network's down. We can't connect to the server because the network's down. Jane, put that plug in, you know, and it was problematic. And I think the key thing for us is actually it just works. It's scalable. We haven't had, I was thinking on my way in this morning, we haven't had any challenges, you know, with the cloud technology. There's no faff. It's up, it's running, and it's scalable. I should absolutely point out now that I've got a fantastic team, and I'm sure they've had a few issues to deal with, but they haven't needed to come to me as an escalation point.
Yeah, and getting those fundamentals right every time, every second, every minute, every hour, that then gives you the time and permission to actually go and innovate.
Well, and that is exactly it. There's something generally for me about 80-20. When I first joined Virgin Trains, we were 20% on support and just getting, you know, general, you know, cables, PCs not working, networks down, all that thing. 20% was on innovation and projects.
20%, yeah. Now that's typical for organisations with traditional models, by the way.
So absolutely, and that's why AWS is a key part of us. It just works. It's all scalable. We absolutely spend at least 80% of our time now on being creative and what projects we're driving, and so, again, for our customers and our colleagues.
Right. So what's your almost approach then to develop these innovative ideas as they come through and to grow them into actual tangible things for your customers?
Well, there's so many. I think, let me just list a few, but actually there's so many. So we have innovation days. So that's where we get our exec team and our key frontline teams. I think we're creative in that. We've got a training crew that's static next to our training centre. So we take them all down there for a day, and we just really say, imagine if. So here's, the last one we did is 14 products that we could do. We just sit you on the train, you know, and actually you can do at-seat ordering. So if you wanted a coffee, the kitchen in the train is working. So we'll send you a coffee. You know,
so
you're
doing
at-seat
in the same environment your customers are actually in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is what your customers would see. So imagine, you know,
what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Yeah.
Absolutely. And another one is we work backwards. I think we've learned from our great friends at Amazon, so you work backwards. So let's be ambitious, let's be bold. You know, what's the press statement that we want to put out there? What's the vision? For me, what's that in the vision, the press statement and the vision?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do that. So and I think that, for my teams, drive passion. Actually, that's where we want to get to. So what do we need to do to get there? And that drives energy. And I think if you have that energy and it's it's encapsulated, the momentum that you can build is incredible.
Yeah, and personally I found the working backwards process when linked to a customer problem that exists right now gives phenomenal clarity of purpose and clarity of thought to actually what is the art of the possible. How can we now leverage some of these very scalable technologies to solve a real problem, not just for technology's sake, but to actually solve a problem? Do you find that true yourself?
Oh, so absolutely. So what, you know, within all of that, what's the problem you're trying to solve? And that has to be there. I think we have to be, that clarity of thought has to be there. And I think, again, that drives the team. We've got the problem, we've got the vision, we know what we can do. Let's push this.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about the new Alexa skill you developed. Could you share with us a little bit more in detail about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first in the globe, I'm not sure I mentioned that before. So we're allowing customers to book a ticket using their voice. We've cut it down from 7 minutes on web technology to 2. And actually I can't multitask, but a lot of people out there can multitask. So even in that 2 minutes, you can be talking as I am now and doing something, you know, whatever you want to do for those 2 minutes. It's really nice and easy. It goes straight through to the Amazon Pay, onto the Amazon customer database.
Right.
And if you've got, like so many people in the globe have, their details on the Amazon customer database, it just flows through. You get your ticket on your mobile phone, and that's what we want. Everyone wants a digital ticket now. So that speed, it's almost instantaneous. Let's get rid of this paper ticket. We're trying to kill the orange ticket in UK rail. We're leading the forefront of that. That's very much part of what we're trying to do. It's all about the customer. Customer satisfaction level is incredibly high. So our skill was 4 stars before we started the pay, because we used to do frequently asked questions beforehand. Since we've gone live, all of the responses are 5-star on that.
Amazing.
So we're doing something right, 100% there,
yeah.
And it's being used. Thousands of customers are using this, and a certain percentage of those are going through and actually booking a ticket. We're doing a lot more with that skill. We're learning from our customers. We're getting feedback from our customers and colleagues. So watch this space in terms of what we're doing with
awesome.
that.
So you've talked about removal of some of that run the engine repetitive tasks which really add no value for your team to do them. And you've talked about the Alexa skill. How else are you innovating at the moment with the AWS technology?
So we've got a couple of other projects that we're really incredibly excited about. One is what we call RCS.
Right.
That's a rich communication system, and that is the new type of texting. So actually texting has been around 22 years. It's pretty just black and white, isn't it? You type it out and you send it. RCS is really just, you send, it looks like an app page, but it's incredible. It's a text message, and it allows the customers to press buttons on like you do in an app. So what we're doing when customers are 15 minutes coming into Euston, if there's disruption on Euston Tube or Euston Square Tube, we're sending them a text saying there's disruption. If you want to know more, press this button.
This is now a two-way interaction.
And that's the key thing, right?
Yeah.
You'd understand that. It's the engagement. We're engaging in a different way. You press the button, unfortunately, the Northern Line's down, but then you've got customers 15 minutes to think about what's the best way of me getting to where I need to get to. You know, could I get a bus? Could I get a taxi? It's not great situation, but we're trying to make things easier and trying to take anxiety away from that customer journey. And it's a little bit more end-to-end too. And it's such an important thing for our customers. I want to get from here to here. Actually, the train journey is one element in that.
It is, yeah. And knowing ahead of time, forewarned is forearmed. So, yeah, very useful.
It's a forewarning. And again, there's lots that we can do with that technology because it's about your mobile phone. So if you're walking to Euston and you're 15 minutes from Euston, we know where you are. Actually, your train's leaving in 5 minutes. So we could send you a message saying, do you want to change your journey? So actually, just press this button, we'll get you on the next train.
And these can make or break people's days, right? These differences.
Well, I think
experiences.
And as you were saying, I think absolutely nail on head. And again, we want to reduce anxiety. You know, Virgin Trains have got this covered. They know where I am. You know, as long as they're signed up for this, of course, and they know the best way of making the journey as easy as possible, even though I'm late.
Awesome, awesome. Now, we know the only constant in life is change, and in technology, certainly things change continually. How do you, as a leader, stay informed and be aware of the art of the possible? Because, you know, with last year, for example, AWS released 1,430 significant new services or features. How do you stay on top of that?
It's incredibly difficult, and of course, you know, as you know, the pace of change, you know, it's crazy good, I think, by the way. you can only go to so many conferences and roadshows.
Yes,
right?
this is true.
So I think probably the key thing is, one, I've got a highly talented team, but the other really important critical factor is I've got a relationship with great partners, and Amazon is really important. So we're doing these really interesting, innovative things for our customers. So when we can start talking about, well, what's next? What are you planning on doing next? How can we leverage that for our customers? ServiceNow would be another example that we're doing some really good innovation, but again, with that partnership is really there. We know what the partnership is about. It's all built on, trust factor. So we deliver to our promise. And we're really good at having some fun too. But that connection that we've got is really strong. So I think we have to rely on, for me, leading digital companies. And for me, you don't get better than Amazon. AWS is very much part of that. Let's do lots. Let's keep up with pace of technology. What can we do? Incredible stories that we've got already. We're going to keep going on that. We're never going to stop.
Amazing. So you've talked about these innovation days you do. You've talked about working backwards from customer problems. But as a leader, how do you ultimately decide which of the ideas you're going to fund for your business and which ones you're going to take to that next level and start developing further?
I think technology has moved on, and again, you look back from the 90s, I think it was often about what's the financial return. And of course, there's still an element of that. But we'd run projects if it's just about actually for the customers improving their satisfaction. So we've run projects that's quite a big spend, but if the customer is happier, then we would do that. So maybe the best example is we do automatic delay repay. So if you go via our digital assets, including Alexa, by the way, we know what train you're on, and we know that train is late. So that evening we'll pay you your due compensation. If it's 30 minutes late, you get 50% back on your ticket. Actually, the customer will be happy if you don't have to do anything. That evening, that money's in your bank account. Yeah. You don't have to do anything.
That's a bit of a wow, actually.
That's a wow. There's no, how can we outline a financial return for that?
That turns a potentially sad experience into a happy one just by you taking care of that and them not having to do anything.
Absolutely. The customer gets an email. We're really sorry we delayed you, but we put your compensation automatically in your account. Customer feedback is incredible. I actually think we can't outline what the financial benefit is, but financially it's a great thing to do because we get more of those customers coming back and they're happier.
You're just removing hassle from the day.
Taking anxiety away, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like another thing off my to-do list has been taken care for me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's another project that actually the core of it is cloud technology, and that's where AWS has helped us again. That's another example. There's so many.
Awesome, awesome. Now, as a leader, I find myself being inspired by other leaders as well. Which leader inspires you?
About that, it's not a techie or a digital one. It's the one who really would inspire me would be Winston Churchill. Yeah. I almost joined the RAF way back when, it was a few years ago. But if you look at his, what he achieved, and standing up against something that was really, really, really difficult
and scary,
and really scary. But I think something people don't always know about him and how creative he was. There's lots of problems that he solved with creativity. I suspect if he was around today, he'd be a brilliant use of technology, which is one of the reasons why I'd use it. The things that he's done is incredible. I read his book recently. It's just, incredible. His speeches, I think, inspire everybody. How many of those famous speeches do we still have in our minds? Yeah. These were going back to 40s. That's 70, 80 years ago.
Still quoted repeatedly to this day.
So, absolutely. Awesome. So it's that drive and in a way the stubbornness. As we know it, not every day is great, but you need to get through it.
You do.
That resilience is important, and my God, did he have resilience?
Thank you for that, John. Now, overall, what do you see as the greatest opportunity for cloud, and potentially what have you seen as a challenge?
Opportunity for cloud, I would be around automation. So we're doing a lot of automation. So bots. Yeah. I take great pleasure in seeing my colleagues at Virgin Trains doing less manual work. There's loads of examples that we've got, but if it was for our customer relations team, just to find out if this customer's on this train, they'd have to go through a process that's ridiculous. Looking up files, looking at different pieces of paper, looking up things on computers. We've reduced that. The bots have automated that. And the great thing, I think, from my colleagues in the customer relations team, they've got more time to think about things that they want to think about, not just manual work and the repetitiveness.
So that precious human resource for your employees that work for Virgin Trains, having them focused on that customer experience that matters, not the repetitive tasks, is the greatest opportunity as you see it.
Absolutely, and that's good for everyone.
Yeah.
So we're delivering change, and it's good for them. They don't want to do looking up pieces of paper.
No.
So I think the automation would be important. And I know we've talked about Alexa, but I think voice is incredible. You listen to my daughters talking to Alexa, and they're all over it. They know exactly how to do it. They're playing games, they're having loads of fun.
Yeah, they won't pick up the telephone, but they'll use Alexa.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
we've got similar experiences, I suspect.
It's phenomenal.
So how far can we take it?
Yeah.
And let's be creative about that too. We're only doing a subsection of tickets now. We're going to be expanding that. You need a ticket. It's just ask, I want to go from here to here on the train. Let's cover that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just incredible what we could do. Yeah. We've just started that journey. You can imagine, pace of technology so fast. What would that be like in 2 years? What you can do with voice and Alexa. You get adoption of Alexa. It took 72 years for radios to go into 50% of UK households. It was like 35 years for TV to get into UK households, 50% of them. Alexa, it's predicted to be 3.5 years. So what does that mean to us?
Yeah, it's phenomenal change.
Incredible change. Yeah. Don't think about what it was like in the past.
Yeah, and the windows are getting shorter each time, aren't they?
Absolutely. We need to jump quickly on these things. Be there first. It's I highly recommend that.
So coming back to the second part of my question, were there any challenges?
And again, my team, I've got a great team. They've worked it through. They haven't been able to, we haven't had any challenges yet. But that's about the pre-planning. Pre-planning is important.
Yeah.
If I need help from my fellow execs, I get help from my fellow execs, not in a technical aspect, but whatever type of other aspects I've got. But if you've got great partners, that trust is there, then we work through the challenges. We haven't had any. It's been completely smooth. And I'm not just saying that. It's just, we just haven't had any.
Awesome. And you've touched heavily on voice and two-way communication. When you look sort of holistically across, many of the technology trends that are washing over the industry, I particularly like the fact that you said, identifying the customer problem and working backwards for that, really important. Are there any other technologies you think that could really help with those customer problems that are emerging on the periphery, or is that focus on that really improving that voice interaction, that real-time interaction? That's where the emphasis is at the moment.
I think it is, and I think what would continue to happen with data. So a lot about data, and AWS again helps us with data. But let's be more personalised. Right. If you think about the data and how you use that in messaging, somewhat connected to RCS and this new type of text messaging. What
more can we do?
What more can we do? I'm very much connected with another company who are new age data consultants, and it's incredible the amount of different systems that are out there. So what happens when customers do a search? How can we record that sort of information? What are they searching on? And of course, we've got to all be GDPR compliant, but if a customer has an affinity with a brand, then and they want these messaging, then I think we can be highly personalised messaging and tell them things that they didn't know.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. So many enterprises are looking at that precious data that they've got, and how can they use that data to infer a decision, maybe using machine learning to help the customers at the point of time they need help with something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that machine learning is absolutely there. I tell you what frightens me is the machines learn and they get better and better. And how fast are they going to be? They're going to be faster than humans at one point. Not quite yet, but that's going to happen, right? These things learn. How fast is that going to go?
Time will tell.
Time will tell, absolutely.
Cool. John, thank you for sharing those awesome insights. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and it was great to meet you also.
Thank you.